Thank you very much, Master, for this wonderful, very elastic introduction. And sometimes when we want to speak it in classic English, we say, you want to dress me in borrowed robes. But it's my pleasure to be here, distinguished gentlemen of the press, and truly, this is one constituency that I see as an extension of the customs family. I feel delighted to be here, and I must also express my sincere gratitude to all of you for the kind of reception that's accorded the announcement of my appointment as Acting Controller General of Customs. It does impose a very high responsibility on me, and I hope working with you, I will be able to fulfill the high expectations of that office. I came around first to express gratitude to Mr. President for finding me worthy of being appointed the Acting Controller General of Customs, and also to felicitate with him for his recent appointment as the chairman of ECOWAS. For us in the Nigeria Customs Service, ECOWAS represents a very bold attempt to forge regional integration, cooperation in border security, in monetary affairs, and it is so good to note that my assumption of office coincides with that period when Nigeria, attention will be focused on Nigeria holding the flag of regional. Very constructive engagement with His Excellency Mr. President, and for all of you that have known him, have worked with him very, very closely, you know that Mr. President is a very good listener. We had discussions regarding the role of what customs can bring to the table to actualize the vision of renewed hope for Nigeria. What customs can do in terms of addressing gaps in revenue projection, revenue generation in the customs, our enforcement strategies, and most importantly, the issue of promoting port efficiency and competitiveness of our ports. So these are generally the issues that we discussed, and I believe that in the days ahead, we will be prioritizing some of these issues for the benefits of the Nigerian economy. There is a common base between all those agencies that are generating revenue for the countries. And then there are some cross-cutting issues. There are some areas where we overlap, and there are some areas where we can complement each other. But in terms of bringing the agencies together under one organization, we are yet to get details of that, and we will be waiting to get the details and see how that pans out.
Any other questions?
CG, any specific instruction or directives to the President regarding the assignment and the activities of the Nigerian Customs Service?
Yes, in terms of specifics, I am sure that we are all very, very familiar with the Presidential Advisory Council, and there is a document which has been made public. Our discussions centers around aligning the vision of customs, the activities of customs in the short, medium, and long terms with those noble objectives set out in the PAC documents. So we're talking about making our ports user-friendly. We're talking about decongesting the ports. We talked about 48-hour clearance of goods around the ports, export-led, inward-looking economic development strategies. So these are some of the issues that we discussed, and I pledged commitment of the customs to bring out reforms and to collaborate with other agencies of government to achieve some of those objectives stated in the PAC document.
With your kind permission,
You can take. You can take.
okay, excellent.
Sorry, okay, my name is Gloria Wisike.
No,
So you were quoted recently saying that there's still cases of petrol smuggling and that you want to try to curb sabotage of this. And I'm wondering how deep is the problem right now and what do you intend to do now that you've taken over the reins? Thank you.
Well, sometimes it is. We just want to assume that because of the subsidy, the problem will evaporate one day. So the sense I was trying to create was that it might take some time before the issue of smuggling of fuel across the border will completely dissipate. So in some border areas, we had reports of seizures of fuel, and that is what we had. So it was the assumption generally that because of the fuel is now sold at 500 naira per liter, it will be a disincentive for smuggling. But contrary to that, we have seen that they are still smuggling it across the borders. The rates at which this is being smuggled has reduced considerably. And it is our hope that by the time we mix some of these other policies that government is working on, it will completely eliminate the problems of smuggling of fuel across our borders. Well, it is not true that all Nigerian borders have been opened. The situation, the status quo ante still existing in the borders. If you remember that the borders were completely shut down 2018 up until 2021, 22, when some selected strategic borders were reopened. That is still the situation as we speak. And this was why we had an ad hoc arrangement of a special unit coordinated by the Office of the NSA to enforce that border closure. But as we speak, about 5 of them have been reopened. 4 were initially reopened, and 2 more were opened after that, and that is still the situation. There are ongoing processes to review this situation against the objective of the border closure itself, and the processes are not yet completed. And of course, when the borders are reopened, it's not going to be subject of rumor in any way. I can also tell you that part of my discussions with Mr. President is to actively engage customs administrations across our borders, particularly the strategic ones that we must work and collaborate with for us to achieve common objectives of border security and regional integration. In the next 1 week or thereabouts, I will be paying an official visit to Republic of Benin to have discussions with the Customs Administration of Benin and see how we can take forward the issue of collaborations between us, the issue of border security, the issue of importation across the border, and more importantly, how we can deploy technological solutions to very complex border problems.
Thank you very much, CD. Dear colleagues, just a point to highlight. When the CD talked about smuggling still taking place across the borders, please, he's not saying that in spite of the policy, there's still smuggling.
Yeah.
He's saying that with time it's going to dissipate. So please, let's not overemphasize that. It's a plea. We are a family. Okay, we are a family, so please let's not take it out of context. Mr. CG, thank you very much again for coming. We deeply appreciate you.
Thank you.
These are all your friends, and you'll be hearing from them from time to time. Mr. Etin Libo, I'm flying order. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.